What is going on, everybody? Back with another video. I know it's been a minute since I did a video on this channel, but I really wanted to talk about the NBA playoffs and how good the NBA playoffs are. But so before I get into that, I want to thank everybody who's still been rocking with me on this channel. I've been on my other channel doing a lot of content, and I haven't really been, over here because, the football season is not really going on right now. It's just a lot of small talk about the rookies or whatever the case may be. But this channel has changed. It is now the VF Sports channel. And over here, we're going to talk about a little bit of everything. And with basketball going on the way it is, I really want to talk about the NBA playoffs because this is the first time in probably about 10 or 11 years that I've actually enjoyed the NBA playoffs. I mean, like right now we're down to four teams, OKC, Minnesota, the Knicks, and the Pacers. And even before then, I was just looking at a lot of these teams. It's like, you know what? It's really refreshing to watch NBA playoffs without any like narratives. You know what I mean? Like the last, maybe 10 to 15 years, it's been narrative based. What this player going to do? What this player going to do? Is this team going to do that? What about the legacy of this player or that player? But this go round, you don't know what's going to happen. Is the unpredictability of the playoffs, which made the playoffs or even the NFL so good. And the NBA has caught that this season. Like, you even look at a team like the Pistons. They came out of nowhere and made the playoffs and actually made a solid run. The Orlando Magic, another team, made a solid run. And now you're looking at teams like the Indiana Pacers, which has some really good players actually, doing like they're playing like championship style basketball. And it's not to take anything away from the Knicks because even with the Halliburton and Siakam and what is that kid named Neesmith, you got guys like that are on the Pacers. You still got Jalen Brunson. You got I forgot the guy name. I can't pronounce his name. Is Obanobi. I can't pronounce his name, but he's number 8 for the Knicks. You got guys like that. You got Cat. Like Karl-Anthony Towns is playing really good. And speaking of Karl-Anthony Towns, he was traded for Julius Randle, and Julius Randle was playing very good for the Minnesota Timberwolves. And I think the biggest name we got in the playoffs right now, and I know SGA is out there, but everybody talks about, Anthony Davis, not Anthony Davis, but Anthony, Ant-Man. I can't remember his last name. Just that number 5. I can't remember his name. It just goes to show you how not, in tune I am with the NBA. As of this year, I finally started getting back onto the NBA, and I'm liking what they do. Mike Conley is playing good. Rudy Gobert is playing good. Ant-Man's playing good. Like I said, you got Julius Randle. He has like a resurgence of his career. I mean, and then you go over there and you look at the team of Oklahoma City. This kid, SGA, is the MVP, and he's been a guy that I've been knowing about for like the past couple of years, but I didn't know that he elevated his game to the way it is. And a lot of people will be talking about him at the free throw line, but what MVP candidate wasn't, getting that type of treatment, let's be honest. But then you look at other guys on that team, like Chet Holmgren. I remember him getting drafted, and I thought he was like borderline bust because he really didn't do nothing in my eyes. But then again, I wasn't really watching the NBA like that. But this dude is like playing like a monster right now. Then you got the other guys on the team as well that I'm not really familiar with because, I know their names and I watch the game or whatever, but I'm not really in tune with them like I am with Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and Chet Holmgren. I know those guys. And I think Dort is another one that's actually pretty good too. But nevertheless, you got 4 teams right now that are, you don't know what's going to happen. And no matter what happens, you're going to get a pretty good matchup when it comes in NBA Finals. There's no super teams. There's no like worrying about a particular player's legacy. You don't have to worry about, the same old that you've seen year in and year out. This year is looking like to me it's kind of like similar to watching the NFL. You just don't know what's going to happen, and that's what got me intrigued to these playoffs. I also will say I am starting to really be a big fan of that Neesmith kid from Indiana. Like, And I like Halliburton too. And and look, I am a Bulls fan, and I started out as a Bulls fan. I'm not too much of a Bulls fan anymore because I don't know what's going on with that team. But I am rooting for the home team, the Atlanta Hawks. So kind of like I go back and forth between the two. But when I'm looking at, this kid Nesmith, he's like a kid that you don't see him coming. You don't know what he's capable of doing. He doesn't look like the type that you would think that will be balling like this. But dude's like hitting threes. He's dunking on people. He's playing some good defense. I'm like, yo, this Nesmith kid is like the guy that you don't expect, but he's balling. And Halliburton, like, I know some people talk about Halliburton. I've seen some quotes out there saying that he's a little bit overrated, but what he did in this last game, I think this, as of this recording, the last game was when he did 32, 15, and 10 with no turnovers. It's like, yo, that's pretty impressive, whatever you want to call him. You got to be impressed with what he did that night. And also, that game, the game tying shot to send the game into overtime, I saw that and I was like, wow, that's unreal how he made that shot. And I thought it was a three, but his foot was on the line, but it is what it is. But then again, you look at Ant-Man, you look at the Timberwolves, how they knocked out the Lakers and how they played how they've been playing pretty well. And the way that team is assembled, they got a little mix of both. They got some toughness and they got some scoring. I mean, you got the Mike Conley, he can score, but he's tough. You got Rudy Gobert, that's flat out tough. And Julian Randle, like I said, he's basically, being the guy that you thought he was going to be when he was with the Lakers. And then, like I said, I think OKC is another tough team that they play pretty solid defense and they got a phenomenal score, a couple of them as a matter of fact. And, that's another team. And I haven't said much about the Knicks, but the Knicks themselves are a very good team, even though I felt like, they just couldn't get over that. And to a degree, they still can't. They can't get over the Trae Young hump. If Trae Young is on the court, they got a problem. But then again, they've been playing very good with Brunson and, Obanobi. I can't say his name right. Cat, and I mean, they got a pretty tough team as well. And they got a couple of guys there that'll rough you up a little bit too. So every single team, even with with Indiana, every team has a balance of both. They got some good scores, but they don't mind getting physical as well. And it seems like now you're looking at a group of teams that are well-deserving, group of teams that can beat you in any way possible, whether it be low-scoring or high-scoring, which has been more high-scoring. But you got teams that, like, every team has somebody or they got a group of guys and you just don't know what's going to happen night in and night out. Every team seems balanced, every team seems focused, and every team looks like a team. And that's something that you can't say like the last few years when you had like these 1 or 2 or 3 players that was really good and the rest of the team was just being carried along with the rest. Now it looks like all 5 players on the court at any given moment could give you that work or give you that business offensively or defensively. And it just makes good basketball. So I'm extremely impressed on how this season, the season was pretty good, but the way these playoffs are being presented, this is a really good brand of basketball right now for the NBA. And I think this is something they really may want to keep up. I think the dismantling of that era of having 3 superstars on a team is kind of faded off. You kind of saw it a little bit last year with Dallas with Kyrie and Luka, and they tried to do that again with the Lakers. But I just feel like it just doesn't work anymore. And you starting to see a collective of players, 4, 5, 6 players coming off the bench, making things happen. And now that brand of basketball is I'm not going to say it's popular, but it's really refreshing to see. You kind of got to tip your hat off to the NBA because I think they did a really good job with that. So that's my 2 cents on that. Let me know what you guys think. Shout out once again to everybody who's been rocking with this channel. I know there's not been a lot going on over here. When football season comes, we will be picking up. There's going to be a different format on how this channel is going to go. So hopefully you guys will check that out as well. I'm going to give you all the details on how this channel is going to be. It's going to be different from what the First and Frame Rates channel, or the First and Frame Rates format it's going to be different. So hopefully you guys will check that out, and I appreciate you guys. Like, share, and subscribe. I will see you guys in an upcoming video. Also, you can check out my other channel, VFcast. I am doing more content over there, but that stuff is more catered to gaming. But we'll talk then. All right, y'all take it easy. Y'all be blessed. Y'all be safe. All right, y'all, I'm out. Peace.